Hey guys, it's Dark Architect 18 back here with another YouTube video, and today we are going over how to use the Codex as a new player, or just if you want to know how to use it in general as an intermediate or more advanced player and you want to know these values and such. Make sure to stay tuned. We will be getting to that very shortly, but I want to just say I do ship reviews, dev strike videos, and much more. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to hit that notification bell and consider becoming a member to the channel. And yeah, now we are going to get into the different ship types and tiers. So you got, battleship, carrier, destroyer, and cruiser. I just went through those. Now we got the ship categories. So we got the tech trees, so they consist of being unlocked through natural progression, tier 2 or tier 1 through tier 8. And then you have the legendaries. And then for the premium ships, they are unique vessels, so you're likely obtain them through doubloons, campaigns, or other special events or currencies or bureaus. And they can be upgraded with modifications and such. Now you got legendary tier and your early access. So legendary tiers are the strongest ships, and they are based off of the tech tree branches of ships. So to get those legendaries, make sure to grind those tech tree ships to get those. And then you have early access ships, so you can get those through crates and such. Rental ships, those are added to your port for a limited time and can automatically be removed once the rental period ends. So if you have earned a ship through XP of a rental ship, then it will remain on that specific ship. And this means that if you obtain it, then you will have those same XP and modifications as well. Upgrades, so you get different upgrades for your different ships. So there's a variety of different ones of those. Your modifications, to maximize your ship's performance, you'll need different modifications. So your mods basically improve your ship's accuracy, reload, speed, concealment, acceleration, much more. Those modifications are available for each ship starting at tier 3 and go all the way up to the different later tiers. So the higher the tiers, the more they can do. And such as this, you got the epic and legendary modifications, so you can get those for any of those modifications stated above. And after 30,000 damage for an epic modification, they start increasing those specific skills that you are trying to enhance. And then it goes all the way up to 5 times for 150,000 damage, and that's where it maxes out for your legendary modification. Now we got the camouflages. So the camouflages are an important part. They decrease your detectability for your ship, and they ensure that the incoming fire dispersion of the enemies is increased. So having a max camo of grade 4 is ideal, so you're going to convert it all the way up from grade 1 to grade 4. Boosters, you can earn them through, they're a one-time consumable. You can earn them through the different daily and event containers, plus you earn them through the special events, missions, and campaigns. You can get them through bundles as well for the store. Now we got Armor Viewer, so you can view the armor of the ship by selecting the ship, opening the combat loadout menu, and moving over to the Armor tab. So this area shows you the armor information of your ship, even if it doesn't have any armor to write home about. So this tool gives you a lot of information such that you know where the armor layout is and the thresholds for those values. You got armor groups, so it'll allow you to see different things. So these are the modules for them. So you got the main battery, secondary battery, torpedoes, engines, steering, and all those different other important vital parts of the ship. And that'll tell you what can be destroyed and what can't, and you can break that down for your armor viewer. Now we're on to the commanders. So the general overview of the commanders will enhance your battle performance. So picking the commanders per the type of ship is very critical. And one thing to note is you need 900,000 commander XP to buy a commander in the store. Now on to skills. You got different skills per each commander. So each commander is going to have something based on whatever they have. Basic ranks. you have 0 through 13 for your commanders, which are the most common. So you need your commander resources of commander XP and promotion orders. And commander XP is earned by playing the game, usually at a 1-to-1 ratio with ship's XP, and can increase with the boosters. Advanced ranks from 14 to 16 require the insignias, so those are obtained through campaigns, bureau projects, and special battle types such as ranked arena event activities, rare drops, containers, or through the store. And you need 319,000 commander XP and 8 insignias to go to rank 16. And then to max out that commander, you need rank 16 legendary 4. And legendary 1 activates those specific legendary skills on your commander. Now on to legendary ranks. So you got commendations, so those are personal ones and universal ones. So the personal ones are gold. Getting a duplicate commander grants a personal commendation for that commander. Universal commendations are blue and are obtained through campaigns, ranked arena, bureaus, containers, or the store. And then at legendary rank 1, which I previously said, commanders activate that legendary skill through a universal or either the blue or the gold type of commendation. Commanders for XP, so you're going to need 900,000 commander XP to purchase them in the store. General, so you got commander guises and economic bonuses. So some of the commander guises give you economic bonuses, such that you start a number of fires or you kill a number certain of ships in a single battle, and that will give you a different economic bonus that you can use in the battle. We've gotten a couple of those as of recent. So how to apply it, you go to the commander guys, you scroll over to the commander's skill section, and then you go to the guys section, and you'll see a list of different guises you can use. There are inherent limitations with the commander guises, so general that can be only applied to the commanders of all nations, and then the ones of specific nations are like per, let's say, Russian or German, etc. Now on to the commanders. So you have battleship commander archetypes. So you have the sniper and brawler. So you have, for instance, Ciliax and Franz von Hipper. So Ciliax is your brawler and Franz von Hipper is your sniper. Now on the cruisers, you have a offensive and utility type of commander. So the offensive one in this case is the Norman Scott, and the utility provides more survivability, maneuverability, and maximizing your consumables, whereas the offensive does more of the damage, the DPM, and more of the initial damage to the enemies. Onto the destroyer commander archetypes. So you got the one that focuses on torpedoes. You got two that typically focus on the main batteries. So torpedoes in this case would be Raizo Tanaka, so he would be your torpedo commander. The other ones would be Kurita and the other one. And then aircraft carrier commander types, there's one per nation. Each nation has something unique for their carriers, so take a look at that. So such as Germans, they have AP bombs. For the British, they have the carpet bombs. For the Americans, they have the the bombs overall, and then the Russian ones have the skip bombs. So take a look at that. Currencies, so you got your base XP, so it is based on your percentage of your ship's hit points that you remove through the damage rather than your total damage. Big thing right there. So that means basically 10,000 damage to a destroyer versus a battleship. You're going to get more for taking more health off of a destroyer than the battleship, because taking off the battleship is going to give you the least XP compared to the destroyer. Ship XP, so that's earned through your total XP currently on the ship. Elite XP, once you have fully researched the ship, you will obtain a elite status, and any of that XP can be earned further on that ship. But if you want to convert it, you need doubloons to convert that ship XP over to global XP. And then you have credits, so you're fighting battles, so you're earning different amounts of credits based on your battle performance, and then steel, which is the hardest event currency to earn, so it is the most valuable. So you earn them through finishing past milestone 100 on the campaign. Also in the forge, and it's a valuable resource overall for the steel. Steel is also required to upgrade selected 4th mod slots for specific ships. Doubloons, so these are the primary ways you purchase them in the game, so you can get ships, so you can get Admiralty backing, premium account time, content from the store, and bundles and other things such as that. Event currencies, those vary update to update, but the concept is relatively similar, so participating in those activities give you currencies for that update, and once you have a specific amount, you can go to the store and buy specific things, and unspent event currencies convert to 1 to 1,500 after the event. Then now we have the battle earnings. So the battle earnings will show up at the end, and that'll give you a calculation in terms of premium or without premium, and that will depend on defending zones, spotting opponents, damage, capturing zones, tanking damage, so soaking up that damage, and that will be presented in this battle earnings screen. So it'll give you an idea of your base XP and your team results and all that good stuff. I'll give you a good breakdown of that. Then your breakdown will also show your post-battle results. It shows you a breakdown of your battle earnings, your bonuses, your ship service costs, which are guaranteed regardless of how you pull out the ship. So if you die at the beginning of the battle versus you have the best battle ever, you're still going to have that ship service cost. Bonuses, so there's different bonuses. You can get XP earnings with the premium account by 50%. Huge bonus that will help you out through that. And then if you do another bonus, which is the premium and all that, that's your main bonus and all that. There's other bonuses as well, so take a look at that. Service costs, so you have inherent service costs for just playing the ship. So that is tier 2 through legendary, tier 1 through legendary, excuse me. Tier 5 through 7 is the best way to earn. Also, your shooting torpedoes, your main guns, will add 5 to 10% to your ship service cost. So whatever your service cost is, if it's 200,000 for, let's say, your legendary, which it is, or your tier 8, then 10% of 200,000 is going to be 20,000. So it's going to be 220,000 cost. So tech tree ship service cost on the left goes from tier 1 all the way up to legendary. So from the lowest to the highest, from 0 to 200,000, and the premium ship service cost starts at tier 1 being 0 and goes up to 160,000 for the tier all the way up to tier 8 for the premium ship service cost. So tier 5 through tier 7 is your go-to zone for earning credits if you're curious. Missions are a vital way to get additional rewards in World of Warships Legends, and they allow you to get different resources plus unique rewards. In addition, the missions might require a specific thing to be done. Types, so you have the renowned missions, the assignments, the trials. So the renowned missions give you the weekly havoc and heroic effort challenges. The assignments hold missions between tied events such as collaborations, historical events, holidays, and more. And your trials hold tutorial style missions to get those specifically done. Restrictions, most missions have some requirements as how to finish them and how to complete them. So to increase the difficulty, there's some that require certain tiers, certain ships, certain types of nations, and ship types. And then sometimes there's another type of mission that is harder for the ship to earn. So there's sometimes a breakdown of 2 of those missions. Now for the campaigns, you usually to earn them, you need the Admiralty backing, but the rewards are promotion orders, universal commendations, doubloons, credits, XP, and all that other stuff. So take a look at that. If you're curious as to what you can earn, typically your progression earns through your campaign is completed through your special missions in battle. So you get 25 renown earned for those missions, and it goes all the way up to 100 milestones typically for a campaign. If you have Admiralty backing, once you reach milestone 100, you can fast track and earn those faster with doubloons and skip milestones. And then after you earn those, you can get steel after you pass milestone 100 on the campaign. So, and you can get through those with the endless milestone campaign missions and all those. So you have typically your missions are your weekly havocs, your heroic effort missions, and your battle prowess missions. So your weekly havoc are weekly duration, the whole update, and with the new set of missions each week. Heroic effort missions are difficult and designed to reward particularly impressive features in battles. So those are more advanced to earn. They definitely speed up your process of earning your campaign or your ship. And then you have your last type of missions. And then you have your endless trials. So there's two different types for those. So you have the daily endless trials, which reset daily, and the weekly endless trials, which reset weekly. This generally means the sooner you go through those missions, the sooner you will have that ship for that campaign. Now on to the bureaus. So you got the bureau and the project label. So you got, when you're starting out the bureau, bureaus usually earn legendary tier ships, but when you're starting out with those, you have to progress through the basic bureaus, and then you'll start earning some of the other ones. But basically, to continue the bureaus, you need to log in within 24 hours if you don't have premium. And if you do have premium, you need to log in within 48 hours of logging off to continue your bureau progress over consistently. And then your project labels give you a breakdown of your basic bureaus. Now on to the progression. So to start bureau project, you need to activate it by interacting with the project's hexagon. This sets up your active bureau projects and start adding your research points. Each second, your progression can be boosted with a few ways. So your ships, your commanders, and then your daily trials, which reset each day. And then you can also speed up the process of the bureau through a breakthrough. So there is a maximum of 2 per every 5 stages. And that equates to about 40% of the bureau project you can use if you spend doubloons to speed it up. So it can definitely improve that. If you have the doubloons, you can do that. But otherwise, you can just do it just generally. Now we have the different win conditions for the battles. So we have, so usually to win the battle, you usually have 1,000 points. Reduce the enemy's team points to 0. Having more points at the end of the battle, or killing all the players on the team. And each team starts with a couple hundred points, and then you have a variation of how much points you can get per each type of ship class. So cruisers, battleships, destroyers, and carriers will give you different pluses if you take out them on the other team versus if you lose them. So you're going to lose points if you lose a person on your team. Now you have different modes for World of Warships Legends typically. So you have Capture the Base mode, Domination. Capture the Base is pretty self-explanatory. Get to 1,000 points first, you'll win the game. Otherwise, you'll have to take out the team, as a team deathmatch mode. The other mode is pretty self-explanatory with Domination and doing all of that. And then Epicenter is basically the same idea as Domination. Just with a basically epicenter and 3 different circle zones. Now with your different shell types, you have AP, HE, and SAP. So typically battleships, you want to shoot AP. Cruisers, you want to use high explosive shells. Typically, unless a cruiser is broadside. Destroyer, you want to use high explosive shells unless you see a cruiser that is broadside. You'll switch to AP shells. And SAP shells, you want to use those generally to damage most ships. So you shoot usually superstructure or higher up on the ship. So to get the most damage out of that. And the sap shells are very good against destroyers, so keep that in mind. Like Venezia going up against the Shimikaze, for example, it'll obliterate it. Secondaries, another smaller caliber guns, automatically covered by AI, and they will automatically shoot in their effective firing range. So those are very fun to use. Torpedoes, they deal significant damage. You can shoot them randomly and judge based off of where the ship is and shoot your torpedoes as needed. Generally, armor and shells are modified or modeled, with quite complex interactions. So you have the understanding of the basics. So HE shells basically go through regardless. So they're based off, so it doesn't really matter the size of the shell. The game checks if the shell has penetration equal to or greater than the armor. And then you have your sap shells as well. So HE shells, so you typically have the size of your gun. So like 6-inch gun divided by 6 will give you 25.3. So then round it to that number. So you get 25 millimeters of armor is what 152 millimeter HE can pen through. And then some of the German ships, British ships, and Pan-Euro ships have the 1/4 rule, so they have a easier chance of penetrating through different armor. AP, so basically to calculate how much your shells can penetrate with AP, most important is basically doing your gun size or your shell divided by 14.3 with no rounding up afterwards. So whatever number you get, let's say it's 26.7. So if it's 26 millimeters or under, you can penetrate it. If it is 27 millimeters of armor, you're not going to be able to penetrate it. Armor piercing subtypes. So there are the short fused and then the long fused AP shell types. So short fuse is typically the British battleships. The ones they have. Another variant is the improved ricochet for penetration angles, allowing for ships to damage more heavily enemies easily. Ships such as U.S. heavy cruisers, Soviet heavy cruisers, and Italian battleships feature this. British ships typically have both short fuses and also the other type. And then semi-armor piercing, so you have the SAP list, so it goes from 90 millimeters, which can penetrate 26 millimeters of armor, and if you have 457 millimeters of SAP as an Italian, then it can penetrate 114 millimeters maximum. Then you have your ricochet, so your AP and SAP shells can ricochet off of any armor, and that's based off its thickness and whether enough they have a steep enough angle. So shells will have two important ricochets. The minimum and the maximum for most shells is 45 and 60 degrees. So if it's less than that, it's going to ricochet. If it's less than that, it's going to ricochet. If it's over that, if it's less than that, it's not going to ricochet. But if it's greater than that angle, then it's always going to ricochet. So sap shells at 70 degrees. If it's greater than 70 degrees, like such as 80 degrees, then it'll always ricochet. Over penetration is similar than that, and it is determined by a few main factors: how fast the shell is traveling, how much armor it has, and where the shell detonates, which is determined by your short fuse or your long fuse, which is determined by your shell. So that'll determine whether it over penetrates or not. Ironically, given the name, increasing damage or decreasing your AP shell's penetration multiplier has almost no impact on its chance of over penetration, as shells will either shatter if they lack the penetration or have too much penetration. Accuracy, so you have the breakdown of that, which is the most important, so that it's based off of the dispersion and the shell grouping for that, which is also called sigma. So dispersion defines the size of the circle that your shells will fly through before hitting the target. Maximum spread of shells and shell grouping determines the likelihood of your shells impacting near the center of your dispersion circle, where you point your aim is. In other words, shell grouping reduces the randomness of your shells. So to get the maximum accuracy, you need to do the shell grouping and the dispersion at the same time. So typically your shell grouping starts at anywhere ranging from 1.4 and the heavily armored ships to 2.4 in the mighty Stalingrad. So typically a standard shell grouping is 1.8 for battleship, 2.0 for destroyers and cruisers. So the higher the number and the value means a higher likelihood of shells landing near and around the center of your point of aim. So your reticle. Dispersion is the other half of the accuracy story, and it can also be improved with commander skills, ship modifications, and almost all destroyers have the same base dispersion values except for the German alternative line starting at tier 6. Cruisers generally have the same dispersion values as each other and are less accurate than destroyers, but much more accurate than battleships. And then battleships have those different types. So your average Japanese dispersion, greater vertical dispersions, less horizontal dispersion, and better at longer ranges. Soviet dispersion, better at close range. And then your German and British are pretty self-explanatory from there. Now on to the saturation. So you have saturation. So each part of the ship is divided into sections: stern, casemate, citadel, and superstructure. Each section has a number on given HP for the ship, which is connected to your overall ship's HP value. Each ship section takes damage, which will lessen your overall HP, and that'll give you a certain saturation for it. So if you have too much saturation in one part of the ship, then it won't take damage in that ship, so it'll be completely black. But if you shoot another part of the ship that isn't completely saturated, you'll get damage in it. Now on to the modules. So each ship has modules, so gun mounts, AA mounts, torpedoes, engines, and radar. Each ship has HP assigned to each module based on that. And each ship starts at about 25% at the start of the battle and all that. But just want to say that is the Codex. Hope that helps out the newer players, the intermediate players, and the more advanced players. And hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. This is Dark Architect 18. I'm out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will be putting up some more videos and streams this week as well. So take a look and keep an eye out for that. And we will see you in the next YouTube video. Thanks. Peace.